Very good Saturday morning to you. It is September 21st. Leslie's off today. I'm Justin Michaels.
Hi, meteorologist Tim Kelly. We had 5 days of sunshine in a row.
It was gorgeous. I mean, the weather has been literally Chamber of Commerce weather.
Right.
It's picture perfect.
Can we keep it on a weekend? That's always the question.
I don't think you're going to have good news
It's a
for it.
challenge to get 6-7 days in a row. We're tracking a large front across the nation coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Tim, thanks. We'll see you shortly. Well, this is something we have not been able to say for about 6 years. The Red Sox are the champions of the American League East. That is some great news for Bostonians this morning. They clinched the division last night at Fenway.
Get out of here. Hey, struck him out. Red Sox win from worst to first in 2013. The AL East belongs to the Boston Red Sox.
And there it is, folks. They beat those Blue Jays 6-3. John Lester picked up his 100th career victory in last night's game. This is Boston's first division title since 2007. It also caps a remarkable turnaround from last year's disastrous season.
It's so surreal right now. I mean,
all right, so the Sox have 7 games left in the regular season, but the fans are already looking forward to those playoffs. We caught up with a few of them last night after the game.
I'm excited.
Well, we'll have full highlights and reaction from last night's game. That's coming up later in this broadcast. In other news here today, Boston police have released a photo of a car they say may have been used in an attempted abduction. Take a look here. It happened Thursday afternoon at the intersection of Southampton and Atkinson Streets. Police say a man drove his car next to the alleged victim and offered her a ride, and when she declined, the driver tried to grab her. He tried to pull her inside the car. She was able to get away, though. Good news there for her. The suspect is described as a light-skinned Hispanic male wearing a white T-shirt. In other news here today, there will be a special ceremony today to honor the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings. Students and university staff at UMass Dartmouth are planting a peace tree to honor those victims and the first responders who rushed to the scene. 3 people were killed, more than 260 others injured. Bombing suspect Jahar Sarnaev was a student at UMass Dartmouth. Big question, should James Whitey Bulger forfeit more than $25 million federal prosecutors say he made off his crimes? Well, prosecutors filed documents yesterday supporting that claim. They want a judge to force Bulger to turn over all his assets and any future money he may earn. Bulger was convicted last month for participating in 11 murders. He will be sentenced in November. Well, our next story has caused a lot of debate. A proposed casino at Suffolk Downs in Boston. Now, the debate is over who should vote for that casino. And with 4 days until Boston's mayoral preliminary election, it's also creating a political debate. NECN's Allison King has more.
I'm here today to testify in
Allison King, NECN.
And we do hope you'll join us on the eve of the preliminary election. Programming note here for you. Monday night at 7:30, we'll show you an encore presentation of last week's televised 60-minute mayoral forum. And at 8:30, see a profile of each candidate in our special show, Boston's Next Mayor. Meet the candidates. Back here now, we are just 9 days away from a possible government shutdown. House Republicans passed a bill that would keep the government going while at the same time killing Obamacare. But that bill will never make it through the Senate. Chuck Todd has more on the partisan bickering on Capitol Hill.
It's back, and members of Congress, well, believe it or not, by law, even during a shutdown, they would still get paid.
And that was Chuck Todd reporting. Now, next week, the House Republicans plan to vote to raise the nation's debt limit. That's going to help the nation avoid the first ever default. But they say the legislation will include a 1-year delay in the health care law. In other news here today, people in Chicago came together last night to pray for the victims of Thursday night's mass shooting. 13 people were shot, including a 3-year-old boy. Now, Chicago's mayor joined community leaders in calling for an end to all this violence. The mayor also said assault weapons, such as the rifle police believe was used in that shooting, do not belong on city streets. Turning our attention now to health news. Researchers are investigating whether a probiotic might be helpful in reducing gut inflammation in infants that have colic. Erica Sargent spoke with one couple who believes the study already helped them get back their peace of mind.
The drops were called that you tried.
Happy babies are good babies. Erica Sargent was reporting there. The probiotic was tested for 3 years in adults, and Dr. Rhodes said it was found to be safe before the study could begin on infants. All right, so it's weather time. Tomorrow is the first day of fall, but do we have some beach weather left?
Yeah, it's marginal. It's marginal. The sun is out at the Cape Cod National Seashore. And I don't know.
Back here now, when it comes to music, sometimes you just have to feel it to experience it. Well, this morning, we meet an up-and-coming artist in Colorado who's receiving a lot of attention from around the country for doing something a bit out of the norm. Nelson Garcia has the story.
Mostly I just try and really have fun. I think adults should do that more too.
You can tell she's having fun too. She's pretty good. Welcome back and good morning to you. I'm Justin Michaels, meteorologist Tim Kelly. He will have your full forecast in just a few moments, but now a few of your top stories today. The Red Sox are waking up this morning as champions in the AL East. They clinched the division last night by beating the Blue Jays at Fenway. 6-3 was the score. Now, this is Boston's first division title since '07. And that's also the last time they won the World Series. Now, we'll have full highlights and locker room reaction from last night's game. That's coming up later in this broadcast during sports. Boston police plan to execute a search warrant today at a Hyde Park apartment where a man was seriously injured in an explosion yesterday. Now, the man told police he was, quote, experimenting with chemicals at that time. Our Alicia Palumbo has this story.
An explosion. Alicia Palumbo, NECN.
There have been a number of bomb threats at CVS pharmacy stores in Boston recently. Authorities responded to 5 threats just yesterday. All of them involved a male caller. Now, the caller reported that a bomb had been placed inside the business and would be detonated unless money was transferred. Well, police have not found any devices or any suspects here. If you have information about this, Boston police need to hear from you. In Danvers, Massachusetts now, a sketch has been released by police, and they're hoping it's going to help them catch a man accused of impersonating an officer and groping women. Police say the man pulled a woman over Tuesday night and assaulted her. He was wearing a uniform, carrying a badge, and driving a dark Dodge Charger. It also had blue lights. A witness says the man had an upturned nose. Now, if you recognize him, take a look here, you need to contact Danvers police. Well, there are 2 new cases of Triple E in the Bay State. One of those cases was found in a horse in Middleborough. The Department of Health says it's raising the threat level to critical in Middleborough and to high in nearby Plymouth. Now, the second case was detected in mosquitoes in Amesbury. The town will be spraying sometime next week. Well, the small, sweet northern shrimp that are caught every winter in the Gulf of Maine could end up costing a lot more. Scientists say the results of the annual shrimp survey are in, and the numbers don't look too good. Our Marnie McLean has this story.
It is a quiet September morning in South Bristol, Maine.
More weather in a few minutes.
All right, Tim, we'll see you shortly. 5 days after the mass shooting at the Washington Navy Yard, the federal agency that actually performed the shooter's background check is defending itself. This as the government investigates lapses in its security clearance system. Danielle Lee has more. Well, it's a tough morning for 4,500 employees at BlackBerry. They're out of their jobs today. That's about 40% of its global workforce. The company says it lost nearly $1 billion in the second quarter as its new line of phones failed to recapture the attention of consumers. Now, BlackBerry was the dominant smartphone when it debuted back in 1999, but it's really fallen behind in the competition when it comes to Apple and also those Android-based rivals.
That'll do it for sports, everyone. I'm Kyle Draper in the Comcast Sportsnet studios in Burlington, Massachusetts. Have a great Saturday, New England.
All right, well, that's all our time this Saturday morning. I'm Justin Michaels. Thank you for being with us.
I'm Tim Kelly. Thank you for watching NECN, New England's news station.